Walk down your own street, and you will likely see two very distinct financial philosophies sitting right in the driveways. At one house, there's Clay. Every 3 years, a brand new SUV shows up on his concrete, sporting fresh paint and temporary tags. 4 doors down is Hannah. She drives a 10-year-old compact crossover with a scuffed bumper and nearly 200,000 miles on the odometer. Society has taught us to look at those two driveways and assume the newer car belongs to the winner. The reality is often the reverse. The owner of that shiny new SUV is currently carrying $8,000 of negative equity and a monthly payment that strains his paycheck. Meanwhile, the woman driving the dented, aging crossover has a 7-figure net worth. We have been conditioned to read the cars we drive as accurate financial status updates. That framework confuses two very different things: income and wealth. Income is the money that temporarily shows up in your checking account, whereas wealth is the money you actually keep. A car is the single most visible object on Earth where people mix those concepts up. Right now, the average new car payment in America is sitting at $800 a month. And that is exactly that, an average. Look closely at the data, and you'll find that 1 in 6 new car buyers are signing up to pay over $1,000 every single month for their vehicle. Treating a car as a simple monthly expense is a trap. That $800 payment functions as a massive anti-investment, a financial drain engineered by the car industry to strip away your wealth before you ever have the chance to grow it. To understand why this happens, we have to look at a mechanism nobody likes to discuss in the showroom: depreciation. The moment a brand new vehicle rolls off the lot, a massive chunk of its value simply vanishes. There are no flames, but that money is gone forever. This chart tracks a vehicle's typical value over a 15-year lifespan. The initial drop is brutal. A new car loses about 20% of its original value in the very first year alone. By year 5, roughly 60% of the purchase price has evaporated. If someone buys a $70,000 SUV, it is worth around $28,000 by the time they get bored of it. Watch what happens when a buyer trades in their vehicle every 3 years. They endure the absolute steepest part of this plunge, hand the cheap, reliable miles to a stranger, and immediately climb right back onto the peak of the curve. They lock themselves into a permanent cycle of absorbing the harshest financial hits. Frequent upgraders permanently rent the most punishing stretch of an asset's life cycle. They loop through the steepest phase of value loss over and over, never reaching the years where a car actually becomes a bargain to own. Dealerships and finance offices thrive on keeping buyers on that exact treadmill. To hide the total cost of these new cars, the industry relies on stretching out the loan terms. A standard car loan used to be 3 or 4 years. Today, 84-month contracts, meaning 7 straight years of payments, are hitting record levels. When you drag a loan out for 7 years, the vehicle depreciates faster than you can pay down the principal. This leaves the buyer owing more on the car than the metal is actually worth. Right now, nearly a third of people trading in a vehicle are in this state of negative equity, averaging $7,000 in the hole. This is where the finance office executes a specific predatory maneuver. When a buyer walks in underwater on their current car, the dealer smiles and rolls that existing debt directly into the new loan. The buyer is now actively financing their previous mistake on top of a new vehicle they already can't afford. The common defense for this cycle is that old cars are too expensive to fix. Let's look at this bar chart comparing those real costs. Say an older car requires a transmission mount and a wheel bearing in the same year, a $3,000 nightmare bill. Compare that to the average new car payment of $800 a month. That totals $9,600 annually. Even in a worst-case year for the mechanic, the older vehicle keeps thousands of dollars in the owner's pocket. The repair argument is mathematically backward. An older car only feels expensive because a repair bill demands a visible, lump sum chunk of cash. The new car payment drains your accounts every 30 days, removing your wealth where you've trained yourself not to look. To see what that invisible drain really costs, we look at this compound interest curve. If a 25-year-old takes that $800 average monthly payment and invests it in the market instead of handing it to a lender, the math changes completely. By age 65, those redirected car payments explode to over $2 million. The choice made in the dealership carries an immense opportunity cost. You are trading the ability to retire a full decade early for the sake of a slightly nicer daily commute. Humans willingly forfeit that future freedom because of hedonic adaptation. When you buy something new, you get a temporary spike of joy, but your brain quickly normalizes it. Within a few years, that shiny new SUV is just your car again. At that point, the vehicle primarily functions as a prop, money spent to project an image of success to drivers you will never meet. There are specific scenarios where upgrading is mathematically sound. If a 10-year-old vehicle lacks modern safety tech like automatic emergency braking, upgrading physically reduces risk on the road. If you drive a complicated luxury car approaching an extreme reliability cliff, trading it for a dependable used car is just math. And if your daily income explicitly relies on your vehicle, like a rideshare driver, then reliability functions as business insurance. But outside those cases, keeping an aging car highlights a psychological trait called low time preference. It's the ability to sit with mild discomfort now to secure heavy advantages later. The data reflects this. The most common cars owned by millionaires are Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords. Warren Buffett famously drove a Cadillac with hail damage because he knew constant upgrading served no logical purpose. The aging car in the driveway serves as a symptom of a much deeper financial philosophy. It indicates the owner values actual, lasting freedom over the socially engineered illusion of wealth. They ran the numbers and trusted them over the marketing, choosing to be free rather than just look the part.